Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Rangga Alfriansyah and I'm from class AB-42 International, and I will present about corporate governance. Next, good corporate governance. The fact that governance emerged as an issue across a large range of disciplines and research programs cannot, we argue, be put down to the fact that social scientists are just dedicated followers of fashion, jumping on whatever research program or conceptual discussion that happens to be passing. Next. Explanation of the scope of governance theory. First, we should clarify what we mean by rules. The rules embedded within a governance system can stretch from the formal to the informal. Decision-making procedures generally find expression in some institutional form and can be relatively stable over time, although not necessarily unchanging. Indeed, one reason for growing interest in governance is precisely because established institutional forms of governance appear under challenge and new forms of governance appear to be emerging. Governance within public administration and political science. Not all governance scholars from public administration, let alone political science, would be willing to accept the idea that their goal was or should be to make a disjointed state work, as Fredrickson suggests, but most will go along with the claim that new thinking about governance has been introduced into the discipline because of shift in the context for governing. Next. Next. Link between governance and international relations. Governance and international relations has become a central concern in the IR discipline. The emerging process of globalization is particular have thrown up new issues regarding government politics, interstate relations, and the global order. Most commentators on global governance agree on the primacy of globalization as the essential context for analysis. Next. Global governance is now the central focus of work in IR in the related subdiscipline of IPE, but there are different explanations of how the institution of global governance came about and how global governance is structured. The, the principal dialogue in this respect has been between the institutionalists and the constructivists. Next. The link between governance and social-legal study. Social-legal studies evolved out of a tradition of empirical research conducted by anthropologists and sociologists that question the relationship between laws, as understood within the legal discipline, and wider social processes. Next. Social legal response to good governance. Good governance concerns an optimal division between government, market, and civil society for which legal and administrative changes are necessary. Benda Beckman points out that this was a discussion regarding the legal meaning of the concept economic and political and of the relationship between the two. Next. Law and power. Foucault key proportion on governance, power, and law, the individual as subject strategies of self-regulation. Next. Corporate governance definition. Corporate governance, from this perspective, reflects the challenge to make shareholders the boss again in the context of competing interests and uncertainty. First, there is an agency problem or conflict of interest involving members of the organization. This might be owners, managers, workers, and consumers. Thank you for everything, sir.